Alrighty, folks, just want to start off the show by giving my chairman members a big congratulations. They hit on 6 different premium selections on my site yesterday, and I'll explain a little bit more about all that in just a moment. But before we go ahead and move on, just want to take a quick time out and welcome you to my Major League Baseball free pick video here today for Friday, April 26, 2024. Happy Friday to you. Weekend's finally here. You made it. Congratulations. And of course, my name is Brock Page. I've been dishing out free sports picks right here on YouTube since 2016. And if you want to see which one of these free plays on this video that I actually like the best, you may want to think about signing up for my full access, all-inclusive chairman package. Now, chairman members get access to every single premium selection of mine, every single package, every single day for the next 30 days. And as an added bonus, you also get access to my Chairman podcast, absolutely free. It's included with your purchase. Now, if you don't need access to all of my premium selections, but maybe you could use like one a day, you could also think about joining my daily best play package. It costs just 6 cents a day for 30 days of service. I'm 2-0 my last 2 extra daily picks, 4-1 of my last 5 Major League Baseball tier package plays. And finally, folks, we are 2-0 in our last 2 chairman package picks in that membership alone. And the good news is we have plays going off in all of those packages here today. And the site is patreon.com/BrockPage. And with that, folks, we're going to dive into some free content. We're going to take a look at the Royals squaring off against the Tigers, 1:10 p.m. East. Detroit's minus $1.20, totals 8 runs. Reese Olson for the Tigers, Seth Lugo for Kansas City. And even though Olson's looked decent in several outings, really doesn't have much to show for it. The righty's 0-3 with the Tigers with a 1.45 whip. Meanwhile, at the plate, Detroit's definitely struggled a bit at Comerica Park. They're a bottom 10 run-producing team at home. Colt Keith is batting just 165. Javi Baez, he's under the Mendoza line as well. And they'll probably have their hands full with Kansas City's Seth Lugo. The righty's got himself an ERA of 2.03, along with a 1.19 whip. And as a whole, this Kansas City pitching staff has certainly been tough to hit against. They're allowing under 3.2 runs a game for the entire year already. Now, total-wise, the Tigers did see 6 out of their last 10 get over the number. They're also 6-5 to the over at Comerica Park. Give me the Royals plus $1 over 8. All right, next matchup, it is going to be A's taking on the Orioles. That'll be a 7:05 Eastern first pitch. Baltimore's minus 280, total 7.5. Corbin Burns for the O's. Ross Stripling for Oakland. And even though Stripling's been terrible, the A's have actually been a solid run line team on the road. They're currently 8-5 against the number in their travels. That is good for 62% in that particular category. And even though there's not a ton to nitpick about when it comes to Baltimore, their pitching staff has allowed their fair share of hits at Camden Yards. They're giving up nearly 10 hits a game on average in their own stadium. Now, 3 out of the O's last 4 home games also got over the total. They're officially 75% to the over in all of those contests at home this year. Give me the A's plus 1.5, over 7.5 runs. Next matchup, Dodgers, Blue Jays, 7:07 Eastern start time. The Dodgers are minus $1.20, totals 9 runs. Gavin Stone for the Dodgers, Chris Bassett for Toronto. Now, Bassett's actually got a losing record already with a sloppy 1.59 whip. And even if he does throw well here today, there's a good chance he may not get much run support. The Blue Jays are a bottom 10 run-producing team. Vlad Guerrero's hitting just .213, 23 strikeouts on the season. Meanwhile, Bo Bichette's batting just .223 himself. They're going to have to try to outscore a top 5 run-producing team in the majors. LA's averaging just about double-digit hits a game on the road here. Now, Mookie Betts, he's the league leader in batting average and OPS. Shohei Ohtani's hitting .358 with an OPS in the thousands himself. And of course, as a team, the Dodgers did win their last 4 straight. It was actually 27 total runs they scored during that stretch. Now, total-wise, oddly enough, the Dodgers are currently 60% to the under as the away team. Meanwhile, Toronto's 6-3 to the under in their own building. Give it the Dodgers minus $1.20, under 9. Next game, Cubs, Red Sox, 7:10 Eastern start time. Boston's minus $1.20, totals 8 runs, and we got ourselves an excellent pitching matchup here tonight. We got Cutter Crawford for the Red Sox and Shota Imanaga for Chicago. And I'll tell you, Shota's been downright unhittable. He's 3-0 through 21-plus innings, and he has a sub-1 ERA. And I'll tell you, aside from walking just 2 batters during that stretch, the lefty Imanaga, he has a stingy .75 whip. And I'll tell you, he could end up feasting here today because Boston has not hit well at Fenway. They're striking out double-digit times a game at home. They're also being held to just 6.4 hits a game in front of their own fans. That's actually second worst in the majors. Sadie Rafaela is hitting 163. Tristan Casas hits 244 with 26 strikeouts. Give me the Cubs plus $1 over 8. All right, next game, Cardinals, Mets, 7:10 Eastern start time. The New York Mets are minus $1.25, totals 8 runs. Jose Buto for the Mets, Miles Michaelis for St. Louis. And Michaelis is definitely having a tough start to the year. He's 1-3 with an ERA of 6.49. And even if he does end up throwing well here today, he's probably not going to get much run support. The Cards are averaging under 3.5 runs a game. It's nearly worst in the National League. And Nolan Gorman, he's batting just 198. Paul Goldschmidt's right at the Mendoza line. And they're going to have to face a tricky Jose Buto, who's actually pitched well in 16-plus innings. The righty struck out 21 batters already with a 1.65 ERA. And these Mets pitchers, they have certainly been tough to hit against in Flushing, Queens. They're allowing only 6.9 hits per contest on their own diamond. Now, 3 out of the Cards' last 4 road games did stay under the number. The Redbirds also went 7-3 to the under in their last 10 at any location. Give me the Mets minus $1.25, under 8. Next ball game, Nationals, Marlins, 7:10 Eastern start time. Miami's minus $1.60, totals 8.5. Jesus Luzardo for the Fish, Trevor Williams for Washington. And Williams is definitely off to a hot start here for the Natties. He's 2-0 on the year with a stingy .97 whip. And these Nationals pitchers, they've definitely shown exceptional control on the road. They're walking just 2.7 batters a game in their travels. And they're facing a Miami team who just can't get any base runners themselves. They're walking fewer times per 9 than any other roster except for one. And it should come as no surprise, the Marlins are averaging under 3.4 runs a game. Josh Bell is batting just 179. Tim Anderson just 229 himself. And Timmy has the second most strikeouts at the dish. Now, oddly enough, the Marlins have seen plenty of overs at home. They're 9-4 to the over at Lone Depot Park. Give me Washington plus 1.5. Over 8.5. All right, next game, Guardians, Braves, 7:20 Eastern start time. Atlanta's minus 210, totals 8.5. Chris Sale for the Braves, Logan Allen for the Guardians. Now, both teams definitely have pitchers on the bump here today who, they've allowed their fair share of runs this season. But oddly enough, both hurlers come into today's game with winning records on the year, and that's because they are backed by some really good offensive lineups. These guys can hit the baseball. At the dish, both rosters, like I said, pounding the ball. The Guardians are currently 8-5 to the over as the road team. No real shock there. They also saw 7 out of their last 10 ball games at any location get over the total as well. I like the over 8.5 in that game. All right, next matchup, Rays, White Sox, 7:40 Eastern first pitch. Tampa Bay is minus 230, totals 8.5. Zach Eflin for the Rays, Chris Flexen for Chicago. And no real surprise here, Flexy's 0-3 with an ERA in the sixes. Now, as a team, the White Sox are 3-22 on the year, and they average a league worst 1.8 runs a game at guaranteed rate field. That is certainly dead last in the league in home scoring. And they got to face Zach Eflin here today, who continues to throw well for the Rays. Eflin's got an ERA in the threes, along with a solid 1.06 whip. And I'll tell you, these Tampa pitchers have also done a nice job punching batters out. They're in the top 5 in the National League in strikeouts per 9 on the road. Now, at the dish, the Rays do the majority of their hitting away from the trop. Maybe they see the ball better. I don't know. The Rays are averaging just about double-digit hits a game when they bat first. Ahmed Rosario, he's hitting .341, and he leads the roster in hits. And, of course, Isaac Paredes leads the club in homers and runs batted in. Now, 6 out of the Rays' last 10 ball games did get over the total. And in their last 10 meetings with the White Sox, the over cashed in 70% of those gatherings. So if you're into historical trends, plenty of overs to go around. Give me the Rays minus 1.5, over 8.5 runs. All right, next matchup, Reds, Rangers, 8:05 Eastern first pitch. Texas is minus $1.65, totals 9 runs. Nathan Eovaldi for the Rangers, Graham Ashcraft for Cincinnati. And even though Ashcraft's allowed a good amount of runs this season, strikeouts are definitely up for the righty. He's averaging over a strikeout an inning, and he's also 3-1 on the year. So the Reds are certainly hitting the baseball for him well. Of course, Elly De La Cruz leads the roster in homers and hits. Spencer Steer's got the most RBI. Of course, as a team, the Reds are currently a top 5 run-producing club in the National League. And they're taking on Nathan Eovaldi, and for some reason, the Rangers just don't want to win for the guy. He's got just 1 win through 30 innings of work. And as a staff, these Texas pitchers have definitely struggled a bit with control. They're in the bottom 5 in the league in walks per 9. Now, as an organization, the Rangers are currently playing just 500 baseball at the moment, and they do currently have a losing record at Globe Life Field. And in those home games, the under cashed in nearly 70% of those contests. Now, since he went 7-3 to the under in their last 10 themselves, give me the Reds plus 1.5, under 9. Next game, Yankees Brewers, 8:10 Eastern start time. New York's minus $1.35, totals 8.5. Luis Gil for the Bombers, Colin Ray for Milwaukee. And Ray's had a solid start to the year. He's 2-0 through 21-plus innings with an ERA of just 2.08. And he's definitely backed by a Milwaukee lineup of hitters who always manage to get on base. They're in the top 5 in the league in hits per game. And I'll tell you, when they're at home, the Brewers are walking nearly 5 times a game at the dish. They're currently leading the league in that particular category as well. William Contreras is hitting a team-best .365, and he leads the franchise in runs batted in. Meanwhile, Bryce Terang, he's also batting .321 with a dozen stolen bases. And even though Luis Gil has certainly looked good, he will give you a free pass now and then. He's actually walked his fair share of hitters already. And these Yankee pitchers have struggled a bit with control. They're walking nearly 5 batters a game in their travels. And, of course, at the plate, their stars just haven't been good enough. Aaron Judge is hitting .186. Gleyber Torres just .202. The Pinstripers are currently 8-5 to the under as the home team. I guess that doesn't matter because they're not at home. But plenty of unders for the Yankees. And they're 17-9 to the under for the entire season. I think I meant to say 8-5 to the under as the road team. But regardless, give me Milwaukee plus $1.15, under 8.5. All right, next matchup I have for you. It is going to be Twins, Angels, 9:38 Eastern start time. Minnesota's minus $1.20, totals 8.5. Bailey Ober for Minnesota, Patrick Sandoval for Los Angeles. And even though Patty really just hasn't been good enough, Strikeouts are up for the lefty, oddly enough. Patty's fan 24 batters in just 21 plus innings. And the Angels are definitely hitting the ball well at home. They're a top 10 hit producing lineup in their own stadium. Mike Trout leads the league in home runs. Taylor Ward's a top 3 RBI guy. And they certainly could have some success here today against Bailey Ober. The righty's got himself an ERA dangerously close to 5. Of course, at the plate, the Twins just aren't getting the job done with the bats. They're averaging under 7.1 hits a game. Now, 2 out of the Twins' last 3 road games did get over the line. They're also 7-3 to the over in their last 10 at any location. Now, the Angels went 60% to the over in their last 10 themselves. Give me the Angels plus $1 over 8.5. Next game, D-backs Mariners, 9:40 p.m. East. Arizona's minus $1.25, total 7.5. Zach Gallen for the D-backs. Emerson Hancock for Seattle. Now, Hancock has certainly run into some problems this season. He's got a couple of losses on the year already with an ERA of 6.10. And even if he does throw well here today, these M's hitters are really struggling to make contact. They're striking out more times a game than any other lineup at the plate. And we could see more of the same here today as they're facing Zach Gallen. The righty's fan 32 hitters and has an ERA of 3 flat. Gallen's also backed by a lineup of powerful sluggers. Arizona's averaging more runs a game right now than any other organization besides one. Ketel Marte is hitting .320. Lourdes Gurriel is 6th in RBI. And oddly enough, 4 out of the D-backs' last 7 road games did fall under the total. They're also 60% to the under in their last 10 at any location. Now, Seattle went 8-2 to the under in their last 10 themselves. Give me the D-backs minus $1.25, under 7.5. Next matchup, Phillies Padres, 9:40 p.m. East. San Diego's minus $1.15, total 7.5 runs. Joe Musgrove for the Pods, Aaron Nola for Philadelphia. And Nola's looked pretty good in 31 plus innings. He's 3-1 on the year with a stingy 1.09 whip. Of course, as a team, the Phils did get the W in 8 out of their last 10. And their pitchers have been tough to hit against on the road. They're allowing under 6.2 hits a game away from the bank. And their lineup's definitely going to have to take advantage of Joe Musgrove, who's given up a bunch of runs for the Padres. Musgrove's got an ERA in the high 5s along with a 1.53 whip. And of course, as a team, the Pods have taken the loss in 5 out of their last 8. Losses against the likes of the Rockies, Blue Jays, and the Brewers during that stretch. Now, total-wise, the Pods are 8-6 the over at Petco Park. They also saw 7 out of their last 10 gatherings with the Phillies get over the line. So if you're into historical trends, plenty of overs to go around. Give me the Phillies minus 105, over 7.5. And with that, folks, we're going to jump into our next and final breakdown for the video. It's going to be in that Pirates-Giants game. That'll be a 10:15 Eastern start time. San Francisco's minus $1.55, totals 8.5. Kyle Harrison for the Giants, Quinn Priester for Pittsburgh. Now, the Buccos have been a solid run line team away from Pittsburgh this year. They're 9-5 against the number when they bat first. Of course, that's good for 64% in that particular category. Meanwhile, at the plate, the Pirates have had little issue in those road games I just mentioned. They're in the top 5 in the National League in run production away from home. They're also walking nearly 6 times a game on the road. That is a league best in that category. Connor Joe's just a handful of points shy of batting .300. Brian Reynolds has the most walks and runs batted in. And they're taking on Kyle Harrison on the mound for the Giants. And he's definitely allowed his fair share of earned runs. He's got an ERA of 5 even right now with a 1.33 whip. And this Giants pitching staff, well, they really haven't been overly dominating. They're striking out under 6.8 batters a game at home. That is a league worst in that category. Now, 4 out of the Giants' last 7 home games did get over the total. Meanwhile, Pittsburgh's gone 64% to the over as the road team. Give me the Pirates plus 1.5 over 8.5 runs. And with that, folks, now it's time for our quick pick recap. Give me the Royals plus $1 over 8 runs. Oakland plus 1.5 over 7.5 runs. I'm 2-0. My last 2 chairman picks on my premium site. Give me the Dodgers minus 120 under 9. Cubs plus $1 over 8. Mets minus $1.25 under 8 runs. Nationals plus 1.5 over 8.5. I like the over 8.5 in the Guardians-Braves game. Tampa Bay Rays minus 1.5 over 8.5 runs. Cincinnati plus 1.5 under 9. Brewers plus $1.15 under 8.5. Angels plus $1 over 8.5 runs. Diamondbacks minus $1.25 under 7.5. Phillies minus 105 over 7.5. Give me the Pirates plus 1.5 over 8.5. And with that, folks, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on my premium site. Now, if you do end up getting a membership here today on patreon.com/BrockPage, just a friendly reminder, you're going to get access to that membership every single day for the next 30 days. As an added bonus, you're also going to get access to all of my cheaper memberships absolutely free. They're going to be included with your purchase. That's why I always tell folks that Chairman package, it's a full access, all-inclusive membership. It gives you access to every single premium selection of mine, every single package, every single day for the next 30 days. As an added bonus, you also get access to my Chairman podcast, absolutely free. It's included with your purchase. But most importantly, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on the free video. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. With that said, folks, happy Friday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my premium site at patreon.com/BrockPage.